Hello, and welcome to Watch Me Now with B. I'm your host, B, also known as Brian Scott Groover, but we're going to talk about that today. Okay, let me put down my other phone that is recording this. I have another phone set up that is recording the audio, but this one is recording the video. So let me find the place. I am blind. I've had 3 strokes. Blah, 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 blah. Okay. So, what we're doing. This is a episode 1 called Rebirth. I'm going to be using Claude to help me with what to talk about next because I can't see an outline and I want to try to improve these. I'm trying a whole new different thing. Open Claude.
Claude, open sidebar button.
Okay.
Claude is AI. Claude message actions. Segment 0. Rebirth. Talk about who needs to die for this to happen and why.
Okay. So segment number 1 or segment 0 is rebirth, and we're going to talk about who's dying and why they need to die. Like I said in the beginning, my name is Brian Scott Groover. Scott needs to die. That was who I was first. And then I became Brian Scott when I came out of the closet. That person needs to die. And then I met someone actually named Brian Scott, and I realized how ridiculous that name sounded. So I went to just Brian, and then eventually just Bri. Okay, and this is where B comes from. The last time I was in a mental hospital, it was when I was in Miami Beach. I woke up at my friend Edwin's place. I went outside to smoke pot, and I would just start crying in waves. It would just come, no explanation. I would just cry and cry and cry. And I thought about jumping over the balcony. But he only lived like on the 3rd or 4th floor. So with my luck, I would have broken something and been miserable all over again. Let me explain. I've got major brain damage, the 3 strokes. Strokes are brain damage. If you know anyone who has ever had a stroke, they come out differently afterwards. All medically traumatic events do that, but strokes seem to really mess you up. Okay, so I've never been happy with myself. I let myself go blind. I knew there was something wrong with me. All of this was preventable, but I wanted to die. But my mother did not let me die. She saved me at the last minute, and now I am living with the consequences. I have to find a way to be happy with who I am because it's not going to change. So that's what this is. This is my rebirth. This is B. So we're going to use Claude and we're going to move on to topic number 2. We're going to ask Claude what the new topic is. I set all this up earlier. This is take 2 of this episode.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
What is the next sentence?
Inserted 1 is the next sentence. Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I am blocked. Response complete. Claude is a Claude logo. Message actions. Find resources. Button. Dismiss. Button. Dismiss. Reply to Claude. Text field.
Wait a second.
Claude is a Claude logo. Message actions. Explain how your mother made you feel. What is the next sentence? Explain how your mother made you feel.
Okay, I think it's skipped a topic, but I know what that topic is, so we're just gonna go ahead and do it. Like I said, this is the second time I've ran through this, so I'm probably encountering some difficulties. Who knows? That message I had to dismiss. I don't know what it was talking about. I just dismissed it. So we're going to go on to our next topic. Okay, I want to play the beginning of a podcast named Hard Fork. This is from the New York Times. This is with two journalists named Kevin Roose and Casey Newton. I love Casey to death. He's gay. Kevin Roose is straight. Casey has a fantastic personality. I wish I could be as proud of being gay as he is. I wish I would have handled it as well as he does. And I'm going to show you what I'm talking about.
App switcher. Claude. Active. Overcast. Actions of
So I'm using my Bluetooth speaker
Overcast.
for this.
The Daily. The Interview. Lena Dunham is back. 9:15 back button. The Church of What's Happening Now. The Daily. Decoder with Neil Apat. Groovercast. Hard Fork. The New York Times. Heading. The Daily. Night Sky. Anthropic Cybersecurity Shock Wave plus Ronan Farrow. And end. Play. Button. Now playing. Hard Fork. Anthropic Cybersecurity Shock Wave plus Ronan Farrow. And Andrew Morantz on their Sam Altman investigation.
Oh, God.
It looks extraordinary.
This thing annoys me because it continues to talk over what I'm trying to listen to. So we're going to skip back 15 seconds. You're probably going to hear a little bit of an ad.
Fork. 36 seconds. With 1 hour. 8 minutes. 36 seconds. Go backward 15 seconds. Button. Go backward 15 seconds. Play. Button.
Uses it to fight back. From automatically dismantling cross-channel attacks to building team resilience and more. Doppel, outpacing what's next in social engineering. Learn more at doppel.com. That's DOPPEL.com.
Casey, I got a haircut yesterday. Thanks for noticing. Kevin, it looks extraordinary. Has this ever happened to you? I went into the barber. I sat down in the chair. He did not ask me what I wanted. He just started cutting. Has this ever happened to you?
No, because they know I'm not straight. With a straight guy, you don't need to ask them. You just get the standard haircut that a man gets.
He one-shotted my hair.
He said, yeah, I've seen this before. I know what I'm doing here. Whereas if I walk in, it's like, okay, let me get out the schematics.
It's also like not a barber that I've been to a lot.
Mm-hmm.
So like, it's not like he knew me.
See, this is exactly, it's like the fact that you just go to random barbers and will accept whoever happens to be, this is why they can just start cutting your hair. Oh, who is, yeah, I don't know this person. Yeah, do whatever the hell you want. See if I care.
Yeah.
That is the straight approach to hair. But it's working great for you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Bum, bum.
I'm Kevin Roose, a tech columnist at the New York Times.
I'm Casey Newton from Platformer.
And this is Hard Fork.
This week, the dangerous new AI model that has cybersecurity experts on high alert. Then, New Yorker writers.
Okay, so we're going to stop it there. You see some of their humor, you see their chemistry. Hopefully you can understand why I like it. Makes me feel better about myself that somebody can be that accepting of themselves, because I've never been able to be. This is why it bothers me when a certain person that is occupying the White House trashes the New York Times and CNN and all the other things I love. This is why I say people like that are just full of hate. Okay. I had to turn off my Bluetooth speaker. Okay, let's go back to Claude. Open Claude.
I'm blind as you know. I'm going to talk. Segment. Talk. Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
I just finished the hard fork part, period. What is after that? Question mark.
Inserted. I just finished the hard part. What is after that? Text select words. That question after is what? Part period. Part period. Delete. Period. T. R. A. P. K. E. H. G. F. F. O. O. R. R. K. K. Numbers. Period. Period. Fork. Reply to Claude. Add contact. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I am response complete. Claude is a Claude logo. Message action. Explain how your mother. I just finished. Explain how your mother made you feel. I just finished the hard fork. What is after that? Actions available. Reply to Claude. Text
I
field.
don't think that's right. Let me make sure.
Reply to Claude.
Is religion not before that question mark?
Inserted is religion, not before that. Add contact. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I'm blind as you know. Response complete. Claude is AI. Claude logo. Message actions. Then after that comes, explain how your mother made you feel. Talk about how religion made you feel like an abomination, and why it made you feel that way.
Okay. I don't know. It messed up. Welcome to artificial intelligence. I'm using the Haiku model, which is their fast, efficient model. I want quick responses, but it apparently messed up. It didn't know what I was talking about. The first thing we're going to talk about is why religion made me feel like an abomination and why it made me hate myself. There were several things in my life that made me hate myself. I mean, it's been my entire life. So religion was just one of the first things. I was heavily involved with the church. I used to give sermons to the youth group, at the 6 o'clock night service on Sundays and on Wednesdays and stuff like that. I was heavily involved in church. I loved it. And when I came out, a certain person that is very associated with the church told me, Scott, another reason, dead name, Scott, we love you, but you're going to hell. And this was for being gay. And this was a person I loved and respected a lot. I'm not going to throw them under the bus. They're doing what they were taught to say. Like it was going to make a fucking difference. And this person was being paid to say this to me. This is what bothers me. You don't tell a fucking 17-year-old they're going to hell for being gay. You're going to make that person hate themselves for the rest of their lives. Now, the church I went to, it was never said. I never remember a sermon where they said it was wrong to be gay. Homosexuality, it just wasn't talked about. It just wasn't. You know, the worst thing, when we would do overnights where we slept at the church and were there all night, we were not allowed to watch Disney movies because Disney supported gay days and therefore we were not allowed to watch Disney movies. But of course I watched all the Disney I wanted to at home. No one stopped me at home. But, these are just something they stick out in your mind. They're always there in the back of your mind. Okay, we'll move on. The next part was talking about my mother. When I was 7 years old, 1987, we were watching 2020 or Dateline, and it was a segment on the AIDS crisis, which was in full swing. Faggots were dying like flies, dropping like flies. They just were. And my mother did not want that hard life for me. She didn't want that life for me. And she said, Scott, if you're gay, please never tell me. And I'm going to tell you exactly what I responded with. I said, with girls like Merritt Sumner in the world, how could anyone be gay? Merritt Sumner was the pretty girl in school. I like girls. I knew that already. I mean, it's exactly what it was. I knew it was a bullshit answer right then. And that stuck with me forever. When I came out, when I was 17, she was the last person that I told. Because she told me to never tell her. You know, her friends were coming up to her and saying, I heard Scott was gay, before I ever said a word to her. I did not tell her in person. I wrote her a letter. She asked me never to tell my father, and I did not. You know, it took her... So when I wrote her the letter, I had a place to go and stay in a neighboring city at that point. I was already working in a neighboring city. So I went and stayed with my friend there and, you know, just continued to live my life. I'm at work about 3-4 days later, and she calls me and says, Scott, there's nothing that you could ever tell me that would make me love you any less. It was a wonderful response, but it took 4 days. And 4 days of sitting there hating myself and wondering if I was ever going to get to talk to my best friend again, if she would accept who I was. I wasn't sure at that point. Okay, so fast forward, I'm an adult at this point. We're sitting at a place called the Cafe in Jonesville, wonderful restaurant. And my mother tells me, Scott, I'm just glad you don't look gay. And I mean, it didn't hurt my feelings. I laughed it off. But, you know, little stuff like that. Oh, so I don't know, society would not, if I did not look the way I did, society would not accept me for who I am. First time I went to my doctor here in Spartanburg, you know, I'm standing outside and obviously things are wrong with me. You know, I'm blind and I walk funny because of the strokes, etc. And this guy comes up to me and thanks me for my service. And I just nod my head. When all of this first happened to me, my mother was taking me to Burger King so I could just sit and be by myself for a little while. I miss that more than anything. Just being by myself and alone. You know, I used to sit at Burger King for hours and work on my video game that I was building, etc. So, first of all, of course, a lady insists on holding the door for me. Let me tell you why that bothers me. When you're blind, if somebody's holding the door for you, they want you to just be able to walk into the friggin' door. I need to feel where the hole is that I need to walk into. I don't need you to hold the door for me. Opening the door tells me so much that I desperately need to know as a blind person. And it just irritates the shit out of me. And I walk by her. As I walk by her, she says, were you injured in the war? And I don't know how to respond to that. No, I'm in this situation because I hate being gay and I wanted to die. How do you say that to a person? You can't. I just laughed it off and kept walking. People just assume things because of the way I look, and that is maddening. And it's also why I look the way I look. I did not want to look gay because I knew society would accept me less. Okay, let's move on. At the end of the day, I love my mother. My mother was my best friend. Some of the things she said hurt my feelings.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
What's the next sentence?
Inserted. What's the next sentence? Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I'm blind as you know. I'm response complete. Claude is a Claude logo. Message actions. Talk about your experience on Scruff talking to someone you knew from before.
Okay, so we're going to talk about some personal stuff clearly on this little episode of whatever this is. So, okay, this is after I've been blind and had my strokes and stuff. I moved back to South Beach. Long story. I was much happier there. I just am. I can be myself and nobody thinks I'm a freak because they're all freaks in South Beach. That's what South Beach is, and that's why I love it. I fit in real freaking well. Okay, so I'm talking to this guy on this gay dating app named Scruff, and he tells me, it was hours of talking, and he tells me that we had hooked up previously when I could see. I don't remember this at all. Whenever I had sex with a guy, I usually blacked it out of my mind. I don't have a number count because I don't remember them. Okay, so he tells me that I came over to his place to hook up, and when I got there, he had to talk me back into sex. And once we started having sex, he said that I did not get into it until things got rough. And he said when it was over with, he could see the shame. He knew I was ashamed of what I just did. And that's all you really need to know. That was my life. That's why I blacked it out. Because I was ashamed of who I was. I was ashamed I just had gay sex. Okay, next topic.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
Give me the next sentence.
Inserted. Give me the next sentence. Add contact. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I'm blind as you know. Response complete. Claude is AI. Claude logo. Message actions. Talk about the experience of buying marijuana for the first time.
Okay, so we're going to talk about the first time I smoked pot. I was 27 years old. It was with my friend. We're going to call him Scandal. We had known each other for years. I had never done anything. I had never been drunk. I had never smoked pot. I had never touched a cigarette. Anything. So I'm 27 years old. I'm at TJ Maxx. I'm trying on board shorts. I feel something in the pocket of the board shorts. I reach down. I realize it's an airtight container. The lid had a little push button to make it airtight. You had to push the button as you put the top down because the container was filled with marijuana. The pair of shorts I'm trying on, it had a little container filled with pot. Really good pot. And I take it back home. I put it up in the cabinet, and I text my friend and tell him next time I see him, because I knew he smoked, I tell him next time I see you, I've got a surprise for you. And it stayed in my cabinet for like 3 or 4 months. Next time I saw him, he convinces me that it was a sign from God that I was meant to try it. And I agreed with him, and I still agree with him. It was the best thing I think I've ever done, and now it does more for me than ever. Let me explain to you what it did to me that first time. It let me forget that I was gay for a little while. There wasn't a constant voice in the back of my head going, "You're gay, you're gay, you're gay, you're gay." It was just quiet for once. I could sit there and watch an episode of South Park and laugh and enjoy it, and I wasn't gay. That just wasn't there in my mind. I mean, I was gay still, but my mind, I'm a complicated person. My mind never stops going. I wish I could turn it off a lot of times. I'll be sitting here listening to a podcast or listening to an old episode of Battlestar Galactica or South Park, and a stray thought will enter my mind, and I have to pause the episode or podcast, and I have to satisfy whatever that voice was. If it's a question about what is the price of a barrel of oil right now, that's a common question. What is the average price of a gallon of gasoline? Stupid shit that I wish I could just quiet. And marijuana does that for me. So let's talk about the first time I bought marijuana. So after I was done with that little bit, he set up a deal for me. He was from across the bridge in Miami. He was younger. He had people that he knew that would sell, and he set everything up for me. They came across the bridge to South Beach, and they called me while they're on the way. And we talked, and when I hang up, they called him and said, "Is he a faggot?" And my friend calls me and tells me to turn off all the lights and hide in the closet and wait for me to call him back. And my friend talked to them and convinced them to sell to me. And he called me back and said, "It's okay. I want you to meet them on the corner. They're going to do the deal." And so I go to meet these two people on the corner. They're in the car, two people, front passenger and driver's side. Okay. The armrest is down. There is a gun on the armrest. They knew that I wasn't going to do anything. I'm a faggot. Let's be honest and let's be serious. But clearly they did not like faggots. And so at any rate, that's the last time I dealt with those people. I paid more and I bought my shit from South Beach, where there are other gay people from then on. And, I will gladly pay twice as much to deal with somebody I know than have to go through shit like that. Okay, so let's go on to the next one. I've never encountered someone with a gun selling marijuana since.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
Give me the next sentence.
Inserted. Give me the next sentence. Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I am blind, as you know. I am going to use you to help me produce a new podcast. I am going to feed you. Response complete. Claude is a Claude logo. Message actions. Talk about the recent experience of someone telling you God had taken your sight because you were gay.
Okay, so this wasn't that long ago. This was like 2-3 years ago. And I had just started talking about being gay on Facebook. And somehow, it wasn't even one of my friends. It was one of my friends, a person who knew one of my friends. Somehow they saw my post. Facebook is funny about that. They'll show your shit to people you don't even know that may be loosely associated. So at any rate, this person texts my friend and says that God took my sight because I'm gay. My friend sent me the number, and trust me, they got a talking to. I mean, I didn't actually talk to the person. I sent message after message after message at 3 o'clock in the morning, whenever the fuck I felt like it, to tell them they were full of shit. And it's because of people like that that I hate myself so much, and that I'm in this situation. not because God took my sight. Okay, let's move on. Now you understand why gay people hate themselves, still to this day.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
You understand
Text
why I
field.
hate
Setting.
religion.
Word mode. Insertion point at start.
That was some religious shit. Miami is full of Catholics. It's a very Catholic place. Miami Beach is Jewish, and I've never had a problem with them. They've always been great. But, you know, the Catholics and that whole God thing, the homosexuality is a sin, bullshit, bullshit, bullshit. Okay, let's move on. Give me the next sentence.
Inserted. Give me the next sentence. Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. I'm blind as you know. Response complete. Claude is a Claude logo. Message actions. Talk about your friend who, after the first time you did anything together, wanted to shoot himself.
Okay, so this is a friend. I knew him before I went blind. As far as I knew, he was straight. I went blind and all this shit happened to me. Next thing I know, something happens orally with us. And he tells me the next day when he woke up, he wanted to shoot himself because of what he had done. And he's only like 25, or he's in between 25 and 35. Let's just put it that way. I mean, it doesn't matter when you're born. It sucks being straight. Nobody wants their son to be, it sucks being gay. Nobody wants their daughter or son to be gay. They're fine with a stranger being gay if it's somebody else's son or daughter, not theirs. Not their we'll get to that. Husband, boyfriend, whatever. He had a girlfriend and he had me. We'll keep talking. I'm gonna
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
read next sentence.
Inserted. Read next sentence. Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. Response complete. I'm black. Claude is a Claude logo. Message action. Talk about him wanting you to transition.
Okay, this is where I was going with this. This guy did not want to be gay so badly. But he loved me and I loved him. We had been friends for a very, very long time. And very good friends. And because we got along so well. And he loved me. I know he did. And he told me that if I would get a sex change operation, that we could be together. That's what he told me. That's how bad he didn't want to be gay. He could be with another guy if they were no longer a guy. Okay, let's just keep going.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
Give me the next sentence.
Inserted. Give me the next sentence. Add context. Start dictation. Send. Button. Send. Response complete. I'm black. Claude. Message actions. Talk about your experience with the Cuban.
Okay, last topic. We're gonna talk about the guy named the Cuban. This was somebody I met after I had gone blind and the strokes and all that. This was somebody from across the bridge, had a girl at home, had 3 children, an ex-wife. I don't think he was gay. I think he's bisexual. I do think those people exist in the world. I am gay. I've never been with a woman. I've never had any desire to be with a woman. But clearly he could and did. And he also liked guys. But, that's not allowed. Especially not in the Cuban culture of Miami. So, I was a secret. I was the side bitch. And it only happened a couple of times, but I really liked this guy. Really, really liked this guy. And it was somebody that I wanted to be with. And he told me that Brian, because I was Brian at this point, we're never going to be together. I thought I just had to get rid of that girl. And he told me I'm never getting rid of the girl. At one point, he said maybe if I was younger. That's always been, listen, this has been my life. The people I'm interested in, they can't handle it. They can't handle me. They can't handle, you know what I mean. Okay, so I'm pretty sure.
Reply to Claude. Text field. Reply to Claude.
I know the next one is wrap up. Let's talk a little bit more about the Cuban. One time, we go out to a sandwich place and he's just a gentleman. I had never encountered somebody who treated me so well, who made me feel so special. He was so patient and so kind. And he treated me like a prince. And that's why I liked him so much. That's all I can tell you. Okay, so the next thing is the wrap up. So I know this has been a very emotional, it is what it is. I need to get this stuff out to move on. And some people would say I need a therapist. It's hard enough for me to get to a doctor. I'm lucky to get to go to a store once a month. Me getting to a therapist, I live in a very small town. It's not worth it. I'd rather do this. I think I can move myself on. Okay, so thank y'all for watching. I'm gonna stop the audio recording first. Let's see if I can find this thing. Okay, later podcast listeners or audio, whatever.
Stop button.
Okay, and now we're gonna stop the video. Thank y'all for watching. I hope you enjoyed it.